Who are the three people that had the biggest impact on your life and why?
I think first of all, my mom.
Yeah.
I know when I was a kid, I was kind of like troublesome sometimes because in school I couldn't really pay attention, so I would get annoying and not paying attention and getting into trouble. My mom has always been super patient with that and just make the best of it. Also, when I got into writing, I remember finishing high school. I had no idea what I wanted to do for the future. I remember around the time Diversion came out, when Bobby Carter went to Japan. And I always loved Asia and all this culture and the food. And for me, that was the closest I ever got to like different culture, also flatland, because my parents, we never traveled. We went to England one time and that's it. Even like during the summer holidays, most of the time me and my brothers enjoyed or staying home. So I never traveled far. And I remember seeing that DVD and I was like, yeah, Mom, I want to go save money and I want to go to Japan. I was just like, I don't want to go to school. I just want to work, save money and just go on a trip. Because I remember watching all the Japanese rider videos, the KOG videos, and then the DVD came out. I could narrate the whole stuff. My mom was cool with that. She said like, yeah, sure, all right, if that's what you want to do, just at least get a job. And actually that point changed so much because I was working at SoulCycle for a couple of months and then got contacted by this theater group. So that also brings me to the second person that has really influenced my life. By a theater group that was really doing theater shows with like hip hop, breakdancing, like the urban culture, bringing that to the stage, and they've been doing that for some while. And a couple of me and a couple other guys did a little demo at an award ceremony, and they were like the main act. And I saw them, and I was like, wow, it's amazing, it's so cool. Like I see this guy doing electric boogie, and everything was so choreographed, like nice, and I was so impressed, like wow, that's so cool. And he was looking for BMX rider for his next show. I don't know if I can do this, and they asked me like, hey, you want to come do audition? I'm like, ah. They took it like 3 times before I finally like showed up there. And so I just quit school a couple of months before that. I was 17. So I showed up to the audition and I already did some demos and stuff, but I didn't have real theater experience. And he really was like, I want you in the show and we're gonna see how this work out. And I was a kid with no experience, just a couple of tricks. You really saw potential in me, and that changed so much because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been doing all these shows for the past years. Like I know I'm good actually at doing shows. I can bring Flatland to the audience and they will like it. They will understand it in some more artistic way. Like I really learned there how to write and play with music, find a nice track that fits to the writing and create like an extra dimension in the writing. And that's all what I learned from that group, because I got into this group with like b-boys and hip-hop dancers and inline skaters. We rehearsed for maybe like 3 months. Everybody was like full-time. We were all like in one gymnasium like for 3 months, every day, everybody crammed together. And then we went on tour for like 2 months, like touring through the whole theaters in Holland. I mean, that was like such a crazy experience. And then a couple of months after, we got invited by the Dutch embassy in China to do like a week shows of that. And that was like the first time I ever left Europe, go to like a different continent. Doing that, I got to save up all the money and then go to Japan finally. Go there for like a whole month and just ride and do like this whole tour with the Japanese rail pass. And
wow.
So
only after 3 years of riding Flatland.
Yeah, I think, like when I went to Japan, I was 19. And when I started doing these shows, I was 18. So after riding for 4 years. Then doing the theater shows and doing them so many times. Also, it helped with the contest pressure. But you got used to being in front of the audience every night, and everything had to be on time. Like you really had to be like, okay, like this scene is ended, you have to be here. Like because I was not only writing, I had to do some other features in the show. You learned so much to really be in front of the audience and deal with those nerves. That helped me so much, but to actually have this person to believe in me and really discipline me, because I was a little bit like a wild kid. He could discipline me and to like, yeah man, you have to be on time and you have to be there. And he was a founder of the whole group. So he is an inline skater himself.
Yes.
And also he did like acting school, and he was like a hip hop dancer. He was like a multiple disciplined guy. Yeah, that helps so much because you are in a group with with so many people all having like different skills. From that, you also learn a lot because you see guys stretching and playing with music, and breakdancing is like dancing to the break of the beat. Like you have to throw the moves on a certain part, and they were like, yo man, you also have to do something like that. The audience is gonna like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna try. Like I didn't know I had like something in me that was actually gonna do that. And I learned because of being involved with all these people and trying this stuff and get more experience in that. Like it helped a lot.
And again, it seems like it was all natural. You never forced for any situation.
No, it all happens, yeah.
What was this guy's name?
Marco Gerrit. I think, yeah, maybe also the guy at the first bike shop where I worked at. If I didn't meet him, like I wouldn't have been able to afford like a new flatland bike. Like we made like this deal. All right, so you can have this bike. I didn't pay for it anything yet, but then you have to work or every Saturdays and you have to work so many hours. And I think it wasn't even the price of the bike, but he was also somebody that saw like, okay, that kid has potential, you know, he got some talent, he got fire, he wants it. With the theater show happening and with this, my mom supporting me not to go to school anymore, and meeting this guy and giving me that flatland bike just to work in his shop. Like if those things didn't happen, it wouldn't have like pushed my career, I think. Over
the years, did you have mentors, guides, people or something actually have helped you to become a better rider and eventually a better person?
I more had like people that helped me out and showed me the right directions.
Yes.
Then I really had somebody
to give you feedback.
To give me feedback. There were many times, moments that I would have really loved to have somebody like that, but you didn't have really somebody in your environment to actually help you with to get to like a next level, or like really like telling you like, yo man, you have to work on your cardio, or that's bad. Like I always had to really, also I can be really hard to myself about that.
Self-judging?
Yeah, really feel like you did this so bad, and then like really like a deep gut feeling that it's like something that really helped me is this book called The Secret, and it's about the law of attraction, you know. I believe in this, you know. I have so many weird encounters when I really visualize stuff and actually seeing it happen. Like then you think like this is not a coincidence that this kind of things happen. I'm not believing any gods or something, but I mean it's pretty simple. Be positive and you will be on a positive energy level, and you will attract good energy things in your life. So have that as a guidance or as a foundation, that has really helped me, a lot.
So what is the biggest lesson, the best advice that you have learned from all this?
Don't be scared to fail. If you really want to be passionate about something you do, I think that's the biggest lesson I learned. Being driven by passion and not being scared to fail because you are passionate about it and you really want to go for something. For me, that really helped because that has been my whole drive, because I don't come from any money. Like I never had people helping me out with money. Like my parents are not rich. I never asked them for any money. And I had to pretty much get by myself. But just to be a strong believer in that this is what I wanted to do, and to really be passionate about that and just go for it, not letting anybody tell you that it is not possible, because I've been one of the first guys here in Holland to kind of like make a living on this and to break out to the international scene for a long time. I've been competing for a long time now, and I've been on the podium several times. I might not have win some of the big contests, but still I think with the resources I had, all driven by my passion for riding BMX, my love for BMX. My previous girlfriends, they always said like, we have to share your love with your bike, you know? And it's the truth. Also, like in love, like there will be hard times. Like,
ups and downs.
There will be times when it's really tough times, and to still overcome those obstacles and still have that fire and that passion, and to still wake up every day and be like, this is what I want to do right now. I think that is the biggest lesson for me.
Wow. You've won contests, like big contests in the past, and it seems like you've always been on the verge of making it big. There's this one last step that you can get to.
Yeah.
What do you think has been keeping you from getting there? You know, getting over that last step?
First of all, like it's like maybe like a mental block. I think if I can overcome this like mentally, picture myself actually being there, because I can sometimes picture it, but there's always like a lot of clouds and self-doubt moments sometimes to actually be like, all right, I've got the tricks, the stamina, the preparation, the consistency, the experience to actually like that day is gonna be the day. Because I know when you're competing a lot, you really get in that competition zone.
Yes.
I'm growing into that from my experience from the past years when I was doing like the world circuit. You live from event to event to event, and you're trying to really get there.
Are you still missing that?
That one, yeah, maybe a couple of tricks that I know I can pull them in contests, but I've just been maybe not determined enough to practice them and dial them. In training wise and mentally, those two things come together. I think that's how I can overcome this obstacle.
Well, you want it.
Yeah, I still want it. You also need the financial resources to do that. Flatland is small. That's why I think, I really hope now with UCI being involved, freestyle going to the Olympics, and I don't know if flatland, when it's gonna happen or how, because Holland is like, the mindset here is a little bit different when you're doing top athlete. They are still struggling here in Holland.
Sports is not a big thing?
Except for when it's football.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty much how it is. And also it's all new. Like even professional skateboarders that are like high level, they're struggling. Everybody is like, now when it's the Olympics is coming up and they're setting this all up, now the skateboarders are finally like, wow, can we finally actually make a living and do this full time? And
when you think of successful, who is the first person that comes to mind? What is success to you?
I think right now maybe like inner peace, something like that. I mean, if I tell my 50-year-old self right now, yo man, you're gonna be traveling the world, riding bike, you're gonna be doing so much shows and you will be getting paid for that and you will be able to make a living and you will actually compete against your childhood heroes. And for my 50-year-old self, that will already be success, but I still want more, you know?
Yes.
Somebody like Alex Germelin to be 40 and still be like so passionate about this and still be riding. That's super successful, you know,
yes.
to having a nice family and still be able to manage all this stuff. Still having that fire and that positive attitude and
yes.
still coming with new tricks yes. and starting that flatland school, having this right people around him. To see somebody like Alex driven by passion, yes. by the passion for flatland now to giving back with the school, to actually make it happen, to find the right people to yes. make that happen with, to have that skill to surround yourself with the right people and the right backup, having that driven and the belief in yourself to actually accomplish that. And when I see him, like how physical fit he is, I'm like, this guy's 10 years older than me, man. I have to step up my game as well. So
no excuses.
Yeah, no excuses. Yeah, actually, yeah, definitely. Alex also went through a lot of stuff with sponsors dropping him, but yes. he still kept going. And he has a whole family, he has 2 kids, and he's still like managing everything together and being super passionate. From the beginning, when I first saw his DVD, the Fast Forward one, that was like a big inspiration for me back then. And when I saw him doing theater shows, I'm like, wow, I'm also doing theater shows just like Alex.
What are your inspirations today?
Dub is also this guy who's really big inspiration to me. He's so passionate and so fired up, yet determined, you know, to keep doing this. And he really gives not a lot of fucks about what other people think and stuff. He has this really extraordinary lifestyle, like living in China for a couple of years. He can speak Chinese, he can even read Chinese now. He's learning how to read. He got a job offer in China. And to actually go there, I mean, that's a big step. Not everybody will be like, all right, I'm gonna do that. So start like our own brand and keep pushing that and still really believing Flatland is small, but we're gonna make it, you know, we're gonna push this. He's so fired up, like he's in great shape. When he's competing also, he's in that zone, that mental state I was talking about. He's just there and only focusing on the combos he's gonna do. He's really pushing himself and he doesn't think about all the other stuff. That fire, that passion that he puts in his riding, yeah, that's very inspirational.
Is that what you're missing, that mental focus?
Yeah, I think so. When I see him, I remember like last Flat Arc, when he was doing the final battle, he pulled some tricks that he didn't do any time before in a contest. And to actually do that in the final battle at the biggest flatland event where you can win so much prize money. As a flatland rider, if you can accomplish that in that situation, you made it. You had that moment like in flatland. He wasn't concerned about taking risks, you know. He wasn't like, I'm not gonna risk that. And sometimes you see when riders are competing a lot, they're just gonna be like, right, I'm not gonna risk this trick. Like Matthias said in his interview as well, yeah, I didn't have to risk it, so I just stick to my plan. And to see him to still risk that situation and just do it for yourself. His state was like, I have nothing to prove anymore to anyone. I'm just doing this for myself. I'm here. Like that's really the vibe, I guess, from Drop. Like I don't have to prove shit. I'm here for myself, and I'm gonna prove to myself I can do this. Or that's success.
If you lose your focus for a moment, what do you do to get back to it? Because in order to ride, you need to be focused.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think at China that pretty much happened when I rode really shit in the qualification. There was, again, one of these moments. Your brain will just go with like so many like emotions. You know, your brain trying to pull some tricks on you. Yeah, that's what happening, you know, like that real demon is coming up and it's like, this is all shit, and oh man, why are you still doing this? And I really focus on that, and I'm trying to tell myself like, all right, so this is your mind. It's just like, this is not you, you know, like your mind is just like playing bullshit. This is like a soap. Like a bad movie or something. Like this is like a scene going, just trying to not really fight it, but just be a spectator of that.
Yes.
Like focus on being a spectator instead of letting you drag by all those thoughts. You don't have to fight them, but then I have to just pick myself back up. I mean, back in the days, like even when I started, I would have these for like weeks, you know, like
before the contest.
No, like after a contest. When a contest is bad, like I would have been like, but then also like riding helps, like just getting back and just trying to get this routine you have in your life. Like, all right, just doing the things, like focusing, even when you have like a really bad thing going on, just knowing for yourself that will go away, you know, it's not permanent. These clouds will go, and like a fluid has to sometimes get out.
What are you afraid of? What makes you scared?
What makes me scared is not living the life I want to live. I can be kind of a control freak, so I can get scared and anxious when things are happening that you don't have control of. But to not live the life I want and to not be doing the things because, I don't know, other people have different expectations from you, or you are not living life as the normal citizens of the city. The most scariest thing would be to not be passionate about anything.
What would you do if you were not afraid?
I would like straight away right now like book a ticket to go ride with some people on the other side of the world and just really live like nothing binding me at the moment. Spend my money on what I think is good and travel and hang out with people that are really deep connection with, like really good friends that I don't see enough like the other riders, because Holland is such a small scene. I know, like you said before, like what is keeping you from reaching that level of success? I think it's also being surrounded with the people that will push you. Right now, I feel I don't see those people enough. I remember so many times, like already back when I would go to all these events and I would learn tricks there after the contest.
Yes.
Just because you are there with the riders that are also pushing themselves, and to feel that energy of the other riders.
Yes. What do you do to rejuvenate yourself?
It kind of depends. I try to analyze what's going on, why not, like I do with a lot of things. And then sometimes you need rest. Before, I would never go to bed before 12. I would never do that. Now, all right, I need my sleep. Just go to bed more early, but wake up at the same time. Trying to eat good, but also not be too strict, not be too extreme. Be flexible, like then enjoy a little snack. I mean, go to the movies, just hang out with friends and do fun stuff and get energy from them and take a break, yeah, from riding or whatever and see how it goes. Trying to do some other things I like. Clean up my house. That's one thing I really do. When my mind is a little bit off or something and I have low energy, I just start cleaning my house, trying to get rid of all kind of bullshit and just clean it and make sure my surrounding area is nice. So when I get home and I'm tired, or when you're tired and you're sitting at home, at least the space around you is comfortable and it's not messy and distracting you.
You were talking earlier about how situations can become highly stressful. What do you do to deal with these high stress situations?
When you're at the contest, there can be so many distractions. I mean, you can be concerned about the audience being there, the other riders, like, oh man, these guys doing these tricks. Like, over the past years, I trained myself to just be focusing on what I'm gonna do in the run. Even if I didn't get the practice I wanted to get done, still go over my run in my head, visualize those tricks, picture them in my mind, and just trying to get in my zone. Sometimes I will just put in earphones, listen to music, and really saving my energies. It seems impolite to not watch the other riders, but sometimes it can really help. Definitely if you are like a beginning rider, you can get overwhelmed, or like a beginning pro competitor. And now you step it up to the big guys, and I remember being there in that position. It's always important to have some kind of plan. Like, it doesn't have to be like that strict, that bordered down. Already picturing yourself being there and what you're gonna do. Yeah, just trying to focus on myself and be in that moment. I know I can really get there and get in that zone. Not be too concerned about the factors you cannot influence, because you cannot influence the other guys riding. You don't know how they're gonna ride.
What advice would you give to a driven rider to make it to the top of the game?
Well, go to a lot of events. That really helps. First of all, you will be meeting a lot of the guys. Like, the whole BMX community is like a big family, you know? It doesn't matter even if you are a big pro, small, or like an amateur rider. As I've always experienced, people are always chill, you know? As long as you come with a good attitude, people will treat you nice. Go a lot of events, you trying to get in that scene and you get in that vibe. Also, it feels more comfortable to be in those situations, to be around the people. That will help a lot, being there on the floor. Been at some contests and some guys, they have a lot of people cheering for them, and you're like, oh man, we're the people for me, or whatever. And go for the experience. Don't expect too much the first time. Just see what you can get and learn your lesson. Talk to the other riders. Definitely just riding, just showing up there, joining a jam circle and just practicing your tricks, feeling the other riders, and in that way getting to know them. Because I remember just starting up, I was too scared to talk to any of the riders, but I would just go there and just session with them, and in that way getting to know them. That helps a lot. You just have to gain a lot of experience. Maybe you are like a prodigy and you will show up and bust all your tricks. There will also a lot of big cases that people, they cannot deal with the pressure, and just take it as a lesson and analyze what for you went wrong, how you can improve that. Talk to guys about it. Be honest with yourself. Don't try to blame it on too many circumstances you cannot control. Just try to see where you can improve, what you can learn, how you can get better. And also, for some riders, the judges seem these evil guys, like, oh man, like, they don't like me or whatever. And find the right time actually to meet up with a judge that it feels naturally, and see if they have something to say, or you can ask something about what can I improve. Or it's very important still for me also. I still feel like I have so much stuff to learn, instead of being there and thinking like, all right, I know everything, I know how to do this, I know how to run this game, because you don't.
What is your holy grail? The one thing that above everything, and that would you like to get or to achieve before the end of your life?
It sounds very cliche, but like a nice family for your own, you know?
Yes?
Yeah. But now I'm getting older, and I feel like, also because I heard a lot of people, some guys I know from the flatland, they have like kids, and they see me like sometimes a little bit beat up after contests, and then they be like, man, once you get like a kid, like, all of these things don't really matter. You just only care about you. My parents, they got like divorced when I was like 15. Still has this burden on the family, you know, and I still know that for myself also. I know it's something probably I'm still missing, you know, to really have like a really like a loving group. Yeah. Like your circle of friends is getting smaller and people are all growing up, and like a good family is like the foundation to a lot of good things in life, I guess. Because I feel like Flatland has been really like my family, and has been a really good foundation to a lot of great things.
What is something you believe or do that other people think is insane?
Maybe for how I live my life, to live by your intuition, to follow your intuition. Because a lot of people are like, wow, man, it's really awesome you're doing this, and well, you're still doing this, and for how long can you do this? Coming 5 years, probably still want to do it, till maybe longer, till my body shuts down. And I think a lot of people around me think it's like insane, but also in a cool way sometimes. But I know there's also other people that, like, if I look back over the past 10 years, how I've been living my life, I don't know anybody that in my surrounding area here, like, yeah, BMX, right? But like non-BMX, right? I don't know anybody that has lived his life like this. Yeah, also now, like, I graduated university, like, probably people expect me to get a job, do that, and yeah, just ease down on the riding, and yeah, you have fun, but I feel like not, like, this is what I want to do.
How do you do to remain creative? Because your riding is pretty progressive. As you said, for a long time you tried to come up with new tricks at each contest.
Yeah.
Nowadays, how do you maintain that creative flow?
Because at one point I just get bored of the tricks I'm doing. But of course, there's also the tricks I like for the contest to show. It's also always been hard to find that balance between maintaining the contest tricks and getting the new tricks. For me, to learning the new tricks is still the most fun of Flatland, that feeling you get learning that new trick. And also sometimes I feel like, oh man, I really, you know, you have to step up, or like it's not good enough, and then you're just scrambling your brain about how you're gonna get it better or how you're gonna get a new trick.
So how do you balance those two things?
Sometimes I will just go back to basic and just do like learn a basic trick or some mainstream trick, or see a trick somebody else doing and trying to learn that. Just because that's how I did it back in the day. Also, I would just copy all these tricks and just copy so many. And then at one point I'd be like, oh, that's a little bit different. And I still do that. So sometimes I will just mess around with a trick that, I don't know, somebody's already been doing, or it's like popular, and keep doing it and have fun with it and learn a couple of new tricks. For example, like now I'm trying to learn some back wheel stuff, trying to get there and learning new techniques, new tricks. Eventually, naturally, some way you will come up with something new, but just keep challenging yourself, even if it's not like a completely new trick that nobody has ever done. For me, it has always been fun to learn a lot of tricks, like a lot of different techniques, brakeless brake, scuffing, forward. Fakie hasn't been my strong point, so I'm trying to learn some fakie stuff. I see other people do it, I'm like, oh, that's cool, like getting inspired by that instead of being like, oh, but he's already doing that. I know like sometimes it can be like that because people are like, yeah, you have to be super original, and I'm just trying to do what I like. So all right, I see this trick, I want to learn it, and then I just challenge myself, like see how long it takes to learn it, and maybe like, oh, I can do like a little creative twist on it, or something pops up and be like, just being on the bike and being like, all right, maybe we can do it like this, or maybe we can do it like that. Look at some old videos from other guys that I found very inspiring and very motivating, and just watch them, or watch some old contest footage. And also with your friends, just trying to challenge each other also a little bit. Like I remember we did that when we were already kids, like, oh, you have to learn like this new trick, man, or else you have to treat us all ice cream. And I can be critical on myself, so it's always been pushing me to move forward.
You mentioned about filming. Is that something you use to improve?
Yeah, it really helps a lot. I just know if the camera is rolling, I will go for the trick.
You use that after, like, to analyze?
Yeah, also. Yeah. Like when I pull a trick, I will watch it so many times to analyze it and to visualize it in my mind. So when the next time, I don't know, create maybe some kind of muscle memory. And also I can be very perfectionistic about where it can be improved. I watch it a couple of times and be like, maybe change it here, there, or do something different there, or use it in this kind of like routine. But yeah, it definitely helps to film yourself, watch it back, and just go over it. And
was there a point in your career or where you just wanted to give up?
No, I always knew, like, even when I took a little break, I don't know, even when I'm not riding a lot, and even, I don't know, you're not having a lot of fun at contests or whatever, you don't have the energy to deal with all the stuff, like the bed floors or all the traveling, and the contest pressure or something, you know, that I had like at one point. Still, then I will be sitting here and picturing myself riding and doing these tricks that I still wanted to do, and just remembering why I like riding so much. Zooming out a little bit, like what's the bigger picture. I knew like, okay, I had to take a little break to focus on other stuff in life. It felt for me a little bit like I was quitting because I was mad at myself for not taking care of the stuff that was preventing me from riding or like really enjoying it, because I would really beat myself up like, man, you're a rider, you have to ride every day. I mean, for flatland, you have to ride so many hours to get good at it. I think like the whole BMX community thinks all the flatlanders are insane for spending so many hours by themselves riding this bike and just doing flatland tricks. It is insanity sometimes, flatland. Sometimes I can look at myself for trying one trick for like 2 hours over and over again, be so obsessed with this trick. And I realized that this makes me so happy in life. Nothing else matters really when you are really in that zone, and flatland really gets me there. Just really like in your zone with yourself, and all the other stuff doesn't matter. And after that also you get the energy just to deal with it. Even also when things are not that well, you go ride and you feel better after it. I mean, this will be the adrenaline pumping and just being on a bike, feeling comfortable. And also, I don't know, it feels like that little kid inside yourself, that 14-year-old kid that bought the first bike is like finally getting some attention again.
If you could go back in time, what advice would you give to your 15 years old self?
Believe that things will work out. Believe in yourself. Stay positive and things will work out.
Is it something that you doubted back then?
Oh, yeah, still every day.
Yeah?
Every day I doubt about if things in life will work out. I think it's in the human brain in general, because to not get too stuck in there, because sometimes I can be like, oh, that take a hold of me for too long, and be like, just snap out of it and keep going.
Now, what advice would you give to your 25 years old self?
Please finish your school. Yeah, it was like a big quarter life crisis.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like from 14 till 25, just always riding every day. And then at one point, like all your friends are like always partying and doing all this stuff. And then I lost a little steady thing in life, like my relationship back then. And then when that hadn't ended, it was really like, well, now I will just do this and do that. And that the chaos took over. So I think, yeah, just relax and focus on one thing for now. That's more important. Set your priorities in the long term. I think back then I was living more in the short term.
That's also part of taking a back seat, probably.
Yeah.
What would you put on a billboard for everyone to see?
Maybe what you said, like take the back seat of life. Yeah, sometimes you have to sit in the back seat of life. I like that. And you always want to take the drive, always take control. And if I look at myself, like I've been easier with those things. Like I changed a lot. Like a would be winding me up about so much things, like there are a lot of things you don't have control over, and that sometimes it's good, yeah, to just take the back seat and
to change your perspective.
Yeah, but I always have this, it's like I cannot sit still for too long. I always have to do something. And then sometimes I have like periods and I can just really be like staring and dreaming, and it comes and goes.
Yeah. What have you changed your mind on in the last few years, and why?
Comparing my life too much with other people's life.
Something you were doing before?
Yeah, because you're like a rider and you're growing up and you're always looking up to the other guys, like, oh, they are doing all this stuff and they got all these sponsors and I don't know, signature parts and like, oh man, I have to get that and that and that and that. And you always want more or something, and just be more focused on doing what you want with life. And it's not saying like not why me, but more like, oh, it would be nice to have those things, you know, like to have like a travel budget, just to see if it can help you to get the best out of yourself, and stability, and, you know, struggle a little bit here and there less. Deep down you just want like, oh man, I could have that too. Also sometimes I have this idea about parts and how can I make this happen. You just would like to write for some brand and design an old frame because you have like a certain vision and you want to try out stuff. But yeah, the flat industry is so small. There's not a lot of guys writing right now, and not a lot of people actually buying parts, I heard. So see what you can get out live with the things you have, you know.
So what's next for Dez Maarsen?
I would like to make a new video part, definitely. My last part is always filming with tripod, and I was like, oh man, I want those proactive shots, but it's so hard to find people with the patience to do that. So I just have to do with the gears I have. So probably will be just tripod shot and just trying to pull my hardest tricks and give something new. Because the last years I felt like the tricks weren't that good enough or like that mind-blowing. But lately I've been getting new tricks. Like maybe I'm overthinking too much stuff right now. It's true, yeah. That's something I would like to work on, like not to overthink too much and just go do it. Yeah.
Yes.
Just smaller steps instead of like, all right, because at one point I felt like, oh man, I just have to step it up more. Also because if you're not winning the contest or getting the results you want, at least, you know, it starts to
play on your mind.
Yeah, play on your mind. Again, you have to overcome those obstacles and just get back at it and just doing stuff.
Instead of thinking.
Just thinking or waiting for the motivation to actually do it. Yeah, just doing stuff, doing more. But I know I'm just making these steps from like setting my alarm at 8 o'clock in the morning and just doing it, getting out of bed. I feel like all these small steps are hopefully working towards like a bigger step. There's one thing, I have the self-discipline to do the stuff. Also that's something I'm still like accepting. You cannot always be on the peak, you know? You cannot always be 120%.
Yes.
There will be moments when you live less, and like life goes in waves. You will have those peak moments and it will slow down. And
where can people find you?
Instagram. I try to post content people like, you know, not post content to post content.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah, definitely. It's been one of my slogans for many things. True. At Dez Maarsen. Any
last words? People you want to thank?
Yeah. Just the BMX community in general. It's been really open-minded community, like a big family. Like the flatland community, it doesn't matter where you're from, if you're a pro rider or you're an amateur rider. Everywhere I always went to, I've been welcomed with open arms, and people let me into their house and they didn't even know me, like they never met me before, but they just knew me from being a rider. Yeah, that kindness is really a special thing, I think, for BMX. So I really want to thank all those people that let me into their houses, help me out in any kind of ways with riding, just being kind, supporting me, sending message. My mom, my dad, my brother, also for riding, my younger brother, and my friends, most of them riding friends, but also non-riding friends.
Right on. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for this interview.